Mike Tyson.
I'm some guy robbing houses and mugging people. The next thing you know, hey, we champ of the world.
So many words associated with the Hall of Fame boxer, heavyweight champ, drug addict, prodigy, robber.
See, everything Cuts told me, I believed it because I achieved it.
Family man, physical abuser, fabulous wealth, saddening debt.
I don't feel I'm the guy who they're interviewing about anymore. They're still interviewing EMMY.
We traveled to Tyson's Las Vegas home to sit down with him over the course of 2 days for this episode of In Depth.
I hear you're really passionate about history.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
How about
'cause we never change as people, you know what I mean? We just never change, you know. The pretense of human beings is just we want to do something because we're confused. We don't understand how we got here and what is our purpose here. You know, we really don't know. You know, we hear stories and we keep those stories in our bosom and our heart, and we want to believe them. And we look at these wild scientist guys, and these guys see all the flaws in these great prophets and religions that we put our heart to believe in and stuff. And we're just here. You know, what I mean, we're just here.
How about some of your favorite historical figures?
Where we gotta go by? Alexander the Great, Hannibal, Constantine. You know, these guys. I used to think those guys. Machiavelli. You know, I think a lot of the Saint Benedict, a lot of the writers of the Dark Ages and the classical era, Europe's classic era. You know what I mean? Probably 500 BC. I think those guys. They gave us a lot of insight in the way that human beings are. 'Cause, you know, we're just people that want to know but don't know. We want to have the answer for everything that's just impossible, you know.
So I was talking to your wife, Kiki, about your passion for pigeons, and she was telling me about how you'll sit down on your chair in the garage with the headphones on and just watch. How many do you have?
I don't know, I may have 100 in there, and that's just too much for my garage, you know. And that's the habit of sometimes having a hobby is a possibility, especially if it's livestock. You may have the tendency to collect too many of them.
It's 100 what you have altogether, or do you have more?
No, I have a few thousand in New York City.
Okay, that's what I thought. Your wife says you can tell what their emotions actually are.
It's just...
How so?
I don't know, it's just from trial and error. It's being around them since I was 9. You know, it's just easy, you know, just over and over repetition. They're like us. They do the same thing over and over.
I know you've told this story a few times before, but explain how a pigeon was involved in you getting into your first fight.
I had all these birds one day that, you know, that just suddenly popped up in this living room of mine. So I told some friends of mine from another neighborhood, and they had brought some other guys from the neighborhood to steal the birds. And this one guy stole one of the birds. After I got my mother, this is like a little whim. I got my mother to get my birds. Mom, help me.
Right.
And one guy put a bird in there and ran out. So I ran after him. Please give me my bird. Please, please, can I have my bird? Oh, you want your bird? First smack me. You want this? And he ripped the bird head off, hit me with the bird, threw blood on me, smacked me around. So my friend said, Mike, fight him. Don't be afraid. Fight him. And if he beats you up, I'll help. You know what I mean? He never planned on jumping in if I got my butt kicked. I know that. But I just fought, and it's not like I was sensational. I was just flaring away, and I guess I hit him more than he hit me, so I won, I guess. I don't know.
And that was the first fight.
Yeah, that was it.
A decent reason for wanting to fight. Your mother moved you, your brother, your sister, I believe, from the Bedford section of Brooklyn
Bedford-Stuyvesant.
to the Brownsville section of Brooklyn.
That was a pretty intense neighborhood back then.
How did that change you?
I don't know. School was over from the start.
School was over?
Yeah, because I stopped going because everybody was, you know, kicking the out of me in school, so I had to stop going to school.
Okay.
So that stopped, and just started crying. That's just what it is, you know. You can't go to school no more. You can't get education. You go to crying.
What sorts of crimes would you commit?
Yes, anything. Just name anything to make a buck. And
what's the worst?
Robberies, armed robberies. It's just bad stuff. Brutal robberies. It's just really.
Did you ever
bad
see
stuff.
somebody get killed?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of bad things that I don't want to talk about, but just look at me. Really, look at me and look at my life, and you tell me what you thought I'd see.
A lot. Sure.
All right, but you know, it's just not a nice place, but it is what it is. I'm who I am is what it is, you know.
What do you recall from your mother?
Alcoholic, not cool life skills, no life skills at all. Now that I'm, you know, it's plain to see, it's no life skills, excessive in everything, party, drinking.
What about your father? I mean, what do you remember from him?
Fancy cars, good dresser, deacon, preacher, big in church, but still dealt with a lot of women. It's same thing. Father's not home. Got a lot of women. Got a lot of half sisters and brothers. You know, same story.
You're 13 years old. You're at the Tryon School for Boys, a juvenile delinquent center in upstate New York, and you're in trouble there, so you're headed to an area to be punished, and it was almost at that point that something happened. What led to you deciding to pursue boxing?
Well, when I was in the detention home, you know, it's almost like, it's considered like the hole for the juvenile detention. It's like the hole, so I'm in the back room in the hole. But I see, through my window, I see people from the other side getting carried in on the other side. And they got like ribs are hurting, but these guys are happy. No, they said, we're boxing with Mr. Stewart. What? And so I watched these guys and I said, what? You see these guys getting beat up, hurt ribs, bruised jaw, eye, and but they're happy that they went through this. So I said, well, I can go over there and beat this guy. He was no big guy. I was a heavy-set guy. He was like 165, 70-pound white guy, slim looking. I could go slug him.
He nailed you pretty good.
Yeah, he hit me in the stomach. I never felt that feeling before. He took me to Cuss, and Cuss met me at 13 years old. And as soon as he met me and saw me box, he started, this crazy guy. He started planning my whole career and my whole life out. I was only 13. I didn't want to appear that I was afraid. Right. And he said, are you ready for the job at hand? And I said, yes, I am. But I had no idea what he had in store. I had no idea. Just didn't know. I was so ignorant, and yes, I was just an ignorant little kid that thought I knew it all. I didn't want him to think I wanted him to think I was tough. I was only 13. Well, this guy's 70, so but I wanted him to think I was tough.
How would you best describe the type of man he was?
It's cold-blooded disciplinarian. It's total belief in discipline.
Even though he was that way, how emotional did your relationship with him become?
It's as emotional as it can get, you know. That's the only part I don't understand in my life is really, who's this guy, how he get involved in my life, and how did I get here? Talking to you. Click, click, juvenile detention guy, robber, heavyweight champ of the world. That quick. And it's just, of course, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. There's no way I could have prepared myself to handle that.
How much confidence did he instill in you?
Oh, man. It's crazy. I thought I could fly if he said it. That's just the way it is. You know, young kids that had nobody. Wow. See, everything Cuts told me, I believed it because I achieved it.
He then passes away months before you would go on to be the youngest heavyweight champion in history. The impact his death had on you would be what?
Everything he told me was real, but he never told me that once he died, if he disappeared, that everybody that he said was his friends would turn against him.
And even when you were around 19 too, I think you said that if you had continued screwing around to the extent that you were over the previous 6 years, you would be in jail or possibly even dead. How much credit do you give to Customato from preventing that from happening?
He gave me tools. That's why Cus gave me tools. Gave me tools. Just gave me tools.
What type of tools?
Just never to give up. You know, that's something that I realize. You just don't realize that everybody then not equipped with that. That it's very easy to give up. And matter of fact, it's relieving to give up. You know.
How do you feel about interviews?
I don't know. I don't feel I'm the guy who they're interviewing about anymore.
The Be Heard moment is brought to you by Boost Mobile. Be Heard. In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Lowe's. Let's build something together.
What emotions would go through you as you're walking from the dressing room to the ring for a fight?
I used to think it was being ferocious. I used to tell people, I can't wait to get my hands on them, but it's really nothing but fear of being embarrassed, being beaten, being knocked out.
So as you're walking to the ring, you're thinking you're afraid, embarrassed?
Yeah.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. That's just what it is. That's just how I deal with my pain and my pressure and everything, you know.
But at the same time, I mean, you wanted to kill your opponents, essentially. You said that's what you would get yourself to think about going into a fight, right?
I don't know. One thing I could ever say, I know out of sounding tough, I always want to say I wanted to kill. I can't wait to get my hand, but I'm always scared to death. Always really scared. And that's what I can remember. That's all I can remember about fighting, about being afraid. I mean, that's a big part of fighting, is being afraid.
You've said before, I mean, even growing up, you wanted a lot of girls. That was the goal. But you abstained from sex for something like 5 years. Was that true?
Yeah, because I'm an idiot, you know? I'm so stupid. I just went by what people told me, you know, this is what you do. Boxing's gonna mess you up, girls, boxing. Listen, I entered this profession a total brainless individual. You know, looking for glory, because my self-esteem was so low, I'm looking for some glory. Can you believe I'm 12 years old and I'm looking for some glory, because my life is just such a waste. It's ridiculous.
The media over the years has widely reported about your treatment of women, and I think as with, you know, any highly publicized story, the truth probably lies somewhere in between. How fair do you think the coverage has been of that?
Well, it's been unfair, definitely, but I had a lot to do with it being unfair. Whatever it is, whatever it was, the common denominator was that I was there, that I caused some of it too. So it didn't just come osmosis out the air, like, wow, Mike Tyson's a woman abuser, and we have no evidence. No, I'm a human being, I've abused women, women abused me. It was like a twin blade, we both abused each other, you know?
How verbally and physically abusive were you at times back then?
I had fights with women. I was a young kid. I know nothing about any kind of relationship with women. And then realized that I'm in over my head. Yeah, that's basically what it was.
One very serious situation happened with trainer Teddy Atlas that wound up with him holding a loaded gun to your head and pulling back the trigger.
Teddy did do that, but it wasn't necessarily because I flirted with his niece or touched her butt or something. Teddy wanted me to go back with him. He was leaving cuss, he left, and I wasn't leaving cuss, and he wanted me to come back with him. You know, and that's really basically what happened. I wasn't leaving to go with him, and leave cuss and go to New York and train, whatever the situation was. But you know, that's what Teddy always wants to tell people. He wants people to think he's a tough guy, he's a mafia guy. Do you think he's a tough guy? Do you really think, see, I know he talks tough and everything, but you think that he would ever come in my face and say that he's a tough guy, man to me? It sounds like he would, because he got everybody fooled that he's a tough guy, but no, he won't. But listen, when he pulled the gun to my head too, you have to listen, this is a good one. I'm 15 years old, and this guy, how old he is, 26, he pulled the gun, he didn't even shoot me. Right. So that tells you how tough he is. He pulled a gun on me and didn't even shoot me. Graham, check this out, right? There's nothing glamorous that's gonna happen anymore. You know, your guys coming in here for ratings. I wish there's something I could tell you that probably make you happy to go home with, but all that stuff that you're talking about now is just all stuff from the past, you know?
We were talking about vulnerability, and you know, from speaking yesterday, I think there is an inherent, a justified guard up or distrust when it comes to media and reporters. How did that come about?
Well, I never, you know, you just have to, that's just the way it is. If you were present during my life as a young kid, you know, I've been assailed by press, I assailed press, and I just don't have the energy to fight with people no more.
How do you feel about interviews?
I don't know. I don't feel I'm the guy who they're interviewing about anymore. They're still interviewing Iron Mike, and that's not who I am anymore. My whole barometer of thinking is just not who that guy is anymore.
How are you doing now?
I have so much, I couldn't even do so little. There's nothing I can do. Right now I have so little, but I do so much.
In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by Holiday Inn. Stay you. In Depth with Graham Bensinger is brought to you by National Car Rental. Go national, go like a pro.
I read that you were so addicted to cocaine that at one time you were unable to even get a drug dealer to sell to you. If you don't mind, would you tell the story?
I'm not interested in going to the story, but yes, some guys are nostalgic and they see you, and when they really see that you're probably sick, I guess they, I don't know, sometimes these guys didn't want to sell it to me.
So you end up going to rehab and you learn life skills, I understand. What sort of skills did you learn that helped?
I just met a great, I don't know, what can I call it? A conglomerate of just interesting, dynamic people that just had my interest at heart as a human being, you know. And it's just, that rehab world is just like how would I say it? A utopic world. Everyone's happy.
What is it like?
It's like everyone's happy, everybody's positive, and we're gonna win, and don't worry about it. And everybody has hard stories, but they're overcoming, and that's awesome, man. Some people think it's even like a cult, but that's just an awesome spirit, and just to be in the midst of when it's really properly performed, you know.
How much better do you feel about yourself today than you did a few years back?
Well, that's interesting, Graham, because I understand myself more. I was just a young boy that just didn't understand myself and never gave myself any time to grow or just anything. I just thought I was tough, and I just wanted to believe that. And really, we're in a different world. This world we live in, this is not a tough man's world. This is a thinking man's world. You know what I mean? Tough men get hurt in this kind of world.
Your life is all kind of centered around family now.
Yeah.
How important has that transition been for you?
Well, it's all I ever really wanted to accomplish, basically. You know, I'm in my adolescent stages of it, but this is something that I'm willing to take on full speed ahead. I really enjoy being involved, hands-on with the family. Something I never thought I'd be capable, never thought I even really wanted to do.
What are some of the things that you're doing now that you never thought you were capable of?
Just being here, like a stay-at-home dad. You know, I'm not an absentee dad. I'm with my family 95% of the time, and I'm just, you know, and there used to be challenges, but this is just what I want to do. You know, I'm just, I reprogram myself to just do this kind of lifestyle. The 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the bed, in the house, and all that stuff. I just put myself in repetition, just living this lifestyle.
Money.
Yeah, what about it?
What does money mean to you?
Paper blood.
Paper blood?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I never look at it that way. I've never been really a money type of guy. I put a great emphasis on it. You know, I never really, I come from a broke background, so I never really had great emphasis. I never really learned the art of handling money as a kid. You know, that's an art. That's why only a few people maintain it, because it's an art, and I never possessed it at that time. Do
these figures sound correct? Made around $400 million during your career?
I don't know. It could have been.
Yet end up spending more than you made, and at one point were like $50 million in debt. How does that happen?
Just being reckless and young and foolish and stuff, and really not caring.
Was it not caring or not having the sort of, you know, we talked yesterday about role models and having the support system.
I never had a good support system, right. So what, I normally, I can't really blame anybody, even though you gotta have carried the weight of a fool by yourself. Other people contribute, but I blame everything on myself, you know. It's not like I've been sucking. I had a good time too.
How are you doing now?
I don't know, I'm alive. I'm able to take care of my house and my kids and all that stuff. I'm pretty happy, you know. But like in that situation in the past, when I had these hundreds of millions of dollars, I had so much I couldn't even do so little. There's nothing I can do. Right now I have so little, but I do so much. It's like the drugs. You might as well say you have it all, but it's still that empty hole that you're trying to fulfill. That's an interesting subject. It's just you spend as much as you can to try to get that satisfaction, fulfill that hole. It just is bottomless.
And what was that hole that you were trying to fill for you?
I don't know what it was. You know, I don't know. Sometimes at the state I'm in now, I say to myself, what was that all about? What was that period all about? You know, what was the late 90s? What was that all about? What was I angry about? What was I depressed about? What was I seeing all these? What was that all about? What was that ear biting? What was all that stuff all about back there? What was wrong with me? You know.
Has that hole been fulfilled now, or do you still find yourself trying to look to fill it?
I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want what I already had, you know?